Well, because I see people change all the time. And that's what I do for a living is I help people transform their lives and change. So a good example of a label would be I worked with a man that was narcissistic. And a lot of people believe that a narcissist cannot change. And I helped this man become a better man. And he did. And just last week, he text messaged me on his 40th birthday and wanted to say thank you and shared with me his YouTube channel where he's created a bunch of inspirational stuff. So he is a better man. He's no longer, having those. I mean, everyone has narcissistic traits and tendencies, but we get to choose if we want to use them or not.
Welcome back to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where everyday people share the quotes that shaped how they see life, offering you gentle wisdom you can carry into your own days. Today's guest is Kerie Logan, a human consciousness guide who spent over 20 years helping people across the globe step into lives they truly love. She's an author, spiritual advisor, and someone who sees the world through both grounded wisdom and intuitive insight, believing deeply in our ability to transform, even when we're not sure we believe it ourselves. Let's step into Kerie's world and hear the quote that has guided our journey. Tell us your name and what you do.
My name is Kerie Logan, and I'm a clinical certified hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner. I am an author, podcaster. I wear lots of hats. I'm a human consciousness guide. So yes, I do lots of things.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
And what's your favorite quote?
Labels are for jars, not people.
Could you contextualize that? What does that mean? Could you explain that with an example?
Example would be, let's say you are an abuse survivor and you always have that mindset that, no, I'm an abuse survivor. And there comes a time where that label doesn't serve you anymore. You could be labeled by a person that you're angry. God, that person's angry all the time. And somehow you transform your life and you're not an angry person anymore. So that label doesn't fit you. And so, it's like with AA, I mean, it's nice to be proud that you are alcohol free for 10 years, 20 years and everything, but you don't have to be walking around with that label.
Or isn't that a good thing?
It is a good thing, but the thing is it's something that you can be proud of, but it doesn't have to be like, you have to attend all the meetings all the time. And, you just basically have to say, I just don't drink. And that's simple as it is. You just have to say, I don't drink. It's like, I don't smoke, but I'm not going out advertising, well, I'm a non-smoker. And a lot of people, once they stop smoking, they're not going out advertising wearing the label that, well, I'm still a smoker. Well, now you're a non-smoker. So labels can change. You used to be a drinker. Now you're not a drinker.
Well, now for me, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the quotes. For me, it is, you said labels are for jazz, not for people, right? And sometimes there are labels, still on the good labels. There are labels where, the things we want to have, they're nice to have. Like, I'll give an example, being a non-alcoholic, right? And that could be a label for maybe 3-4 years, depending on how long that has been going on for. But guess what happens when you remove the label from in this context, from the example you gave, the jar, right? It doesn't change the jar. Right?
No, it doesn't change the jar. The jar is still the same. You're still the same. It's just labels get replaced all the time when they're on people. But when they're on jars, it's just a jar. It's still the same content inside the jar. And then if you don't want if you want to recycle the jar, you can put a different label on the jar. But I just don't prefer people, having to be labeled all the time because sometimes those labels, don't fit the person anymore.
Yeah. An example of a label I'm probably thinking of is I hear people every day, they tell you, oh, I'm not a technology person, right? And I'm like, I mean, it could be clear that you don't know about technology, but they just have this label that I'm not a technology person. And so before I even open my mouth to try to explain the thing about maybe the technical thing that they could do, maybe from step 1, step 2, I'm trying to explain and say, okay, for you to start a podcast, you just sign up for this platform. And, I mean, it's pretty easy. I'm trying to explain, I'm trying to teach it. And before I even start saying anything, they're like, I'm not a technology person. It's not for me. Right. And I'm like, you don't even know if it's simple for you to get it. And yeah, you are. You everything. Even if I try to teach or explain anything, because it has to do with technology. Guess what? It's just going to pass through this ear and come out of the other ear, because they've taken the label of, oh, I'm not a technology person. The technology is not my thing. There's nothing you explain to me that I will really understand about technology, and that for me, it's limiting.
You are exactly right. Because some people just, they label themselves as, I'm not going to do this. And that's the label that they go on. And, look at it as that's their stubborn label. They're just being stubborn. It's like, I'll give you a good example of my husband, which is kind of funny. Let's say he goes into a hardware store and he needs a certain part. He won't go and ask for help if he can't find it himself. I'm
Eh,
serious. It's ridiculous. I laugh
eh,
too because I'm in the store with him and I'm like, dude, if you don't find it in 5 minutes, I'm going to ask a representative, where is this item? Which aisle is it in? Because I know it's here. We just can't find it. But he will literally leave the store if he cannot find it on his own. And I'm just like, whatever. But that's his stubbornness.
Yeah, I mean that's what's the word? It's not really a significant area. It's just it's one of those things. But for me, the area of alarm is in our own like personal life, the areas where we want to improve, we want to try things out, and for certain reasons we just cannot figure it out. And guess what? We don't ask for help. Now, in that scenario, in that context,
Right.
it is very alarming.
It is, but that's the way that he was raised is, and this is going to sound wild, but in his generation it's like, well, real men don't ask for directions. Real men don't pull over and ask, the gas station, where is this street? I hate to say that, but some men actually have that mindset of, I won't ask for directions, I won't ask for this. And then us women, we're like, we don't care. We just want to, get to our destination. We're going to ask.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
So it could
sometimes.
just be a generational thing.
Yeah, the thing about labor is that sometimes it's a good labor, sometimes it's just a labor,
Yes.
sometimes it's a terrible labor. Yeah,
Yep, exactly.
yeah.
And
Well,
labels can change.
yeah, labors can change. Yeah, but I feel like sometimes we're so focused on the labor that we've forgotten about the job
Yes, exactly.
people. How long have you like known this quote?
A few years, probably about 4 or 5 years, maybe.
And why do you think this quote resonates deeply with you? I mean, it's your favorite. Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
Well, because I see people change all the time. And that's what I do for a living is I help people transform their lives and change. So a good example of a label would be I worked with a man that was narcissistic. And a lot of people believe that a narcissist cannot change. And I helped this man become a better man. And he did. And just last week, he text messaged me on his 40th birthday and wanted to say thank you and shared with me his YouTube channel where he's created a bunch of inspirational stuff. So he is a better man. He's no longer, having those. I mean, everyone has narcissistic traits and tendencies, but we get to choose if we want to use them or not.
Yeah.
And so he did the work and he became a better person. And that was the key thing is he said, everyone thought he was a failure. Everyone thought he was a loser. His whole family wasn't supportive at all. And he's like, I needed someone to believe in me. And he's like, and that was you. And he's like, you saw the potential in me when I started even doubting that there was potential in me. But you gave me the tools and I applied it and it worked.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
see, that's a big label that he was walking around with because he was angry. He was abused as a child. He was neglected, all that crap.
Yeah. I feel like we might have stayed too long with the label that we cannot imagine a life without the label. And
There
so
are some people, yes.
our identity is the label to an extent where removing the label is like you're snatching our life away. And we're like, no, why would you do that?
Right. And some people do think that it defines them, and it doesn't have to. It's got you thinking. I mean,
Yeah.
this is relatable wisdom, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm just allowing that to sink in. Labels are for jazz and not for people. Labels to change. Yeah.
Right.
One of the contexts I see, and this is not just, okay, this is like titles and all that, right? Which is a kind of label too, if you look at it that way. People are like, oh, I'm the CEO of this company. Oh, I'm the chief managing director. I'm the regional director of the bank branch and everything and all that. And guess what? They lay them off and they start asking themselves, what is my life? I feel like I have no worth, because all this why their worth, their self-esteem, their identity has been connected and built on, I am the CEO of this company. I am the whatever the title might be, that is, quote unquote, air quotes, big. And once you remove the title, for some reason, things happen, right? Now they're like, what's happening? I don't know. I'm confused. I'm lost. What should I be doing? This is not what I'm meant for. And it's the reason why a lot of persons are, when they get laid off, they have this, no, apart from the fact that, it's sad to lose your job, source of income. Even if they get a different job, they still really have this mental breakdown just because they lost their job. Not just from the sadness of losing your source of income and having to take care of expenses. Sometimes the expenses are taken care of, right? They find something else that take care of the expenses, but they still have this issue, this mental issue, because now they don't know who they are anymore.
Right. Well, and some people really get invested in their work, and they don't know anything else. It's been their whole life. And when they retire, they don't know what to do with themselves sometimes.
Yeah.
Because their work was their whole entire world, their whole entire identity. And now you're not a CEO anymore.
Yeah.
You're a retired CEO. I know. And that's hard.
I see what you did. A retired CEO. Retired CEO. Like, I mean, a retired CEO is not a CEO. It was once a CEO, but it's not a CEO.
Right. So,
Yeah. Well, this is deep. This is profound. Thanks for sharing. How do you say
sure.
your name?
Kerie.
Kerie. Okay. I feel like I should pronounce the I and the E, but Kerie. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, you can thank my parents for spelling it weird.
Yeah. Okay. For people that have listened to this episode and they want to know what you do and learn more about you and what you do, what's the thing you do and where can they do that?
Well, you can Google my name. It's easy. Kerie, last name Logan. And I have a website called mastertheupperrooms.com. And on there's a bunch of free stuff. If you want to learn about human consciousness, you can. There's free images on there like this. There's free MP3 downloads. There's free ebooks. If you want a 15-minute consultation, that's free also. Just, select that and I'll get in touch with you and schedule a time. I'm on YouTube and Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the typical places. So yeah, you can find me. Same as well. And I hope you have a really fantastic day, and all your listeners as well.
You've been listening to Relatable Wisdom, and I've been your host, Wisdom Okonkwo. You've been listening to the podcast where every story, quote, and insight helps you see life a little differently. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who would love the conversation. For more inspiring voices and timeless wisdom, visit relatablewisdom.com. Until next time, keep living, learning, and collecting wisdom that matters most to you.